I'm Brian Professor B. Davis. This is your San Francisco 49ers podcast 2021 season in recap on Niners Radio. Well, a lot has changed in different changes since the last we talked a little over 3 weeks ago yesterday as we doing this taping when the 49ers lost in the NFC Championship game to the LA Rams down at SoFi Stadium. And then, of course, a week ago yesterday that the Rams won the Super Bowl over the Cincinnati Bengals. The Rams win their second Super Bowl in franchise history, their first since 1999, their first as the LA Rams. They win by a score of 26-23 as the Rams are the new champions of the football world for 2021. First time the NFC champion has consecutive Super Bowl champions back-to-back years since it was the stretch between 2009 through 2011 where the NFC champ won three in a row. That was, of course, the Saints 12 years ago, their Super Bowl win over the Colts. Then it was the Packers over the Steelers in Super Bowl 45. And then Super Bowl 46, the Giants, another improbable run through the postseason with their win over the New England Patriots in the rematch of Super Bowl 42 10 years ago down in Indianapolis. So a lot has changed since the season has come to an end. 49ers finishing the season, recapping the NFC West with a 10-7 record, good enough for third place. They finished a game behind the Cardinals. They finished 2 games behind the Rams for the top spot of the NFC West, rounding out that top 4 teams. Every team in the NFC West had a winning record except for the Seahawks. They finished the season with a 7-10 record. And when you look at it, though, the NFC West was clearly the best division in football. And the Seahawks, 2 of their 7 wins came in expense to your San Francisco 49ers. As they, of course, the Seahawks will be a lot of uncertainty with that club, with the future of Russell Wilson going into this offseason, and they have a lot of salary cap issues, and they're making a lot of changes, not only with personnel, with their coaching staff as well. So this is the Seahawks. It looks like they're on their way towards that rebuilding phase and moving on from Russell Wilson. The Arizona Cardinals, of course, 11-6, they really collapsed down the stretch. They were a quick one and done. A lot of rumblings with Russell or with Kyler Murray in Arizona as this offseason has begun. We'll keep on taps of that story as well. And then for the 49ers, what's going to happen with Jimmy Garoppolo? Speculation is he's going to most likely, they're going to get traded to a situation. And, and it looks like the Trey Lance era is about to start in 2022. A lot of the recap of their season, the Niners end up making the playoffs, winning at least 10 games or more for the second time in 3 years. And, they got all the way to the NFC Championship. They beat the Cowboys in Big D. Then they beat the Packers in the snow. Then they came within 3 points of going back to the Super Bowl. So the Niners are stacked. A lot of free agency going to be coming up for the 49ers coming up in the coming weeks. And they're going to be some tough decisions. Laken Tomlinson, lots going to be going on. A lot of coaching changes has been changed around for the 49ers since the season has concluded, as Mike McDaniel now gets the head coaching gig for the Miami Dolphins. Richard Hightower is going to move on with special teams coach. He'll move on to Chicago to the same position. John Emery was not retained. Then Wes Welker, the former Dolphin and Patriot, he will be heading down to South Florida with that same position with McDaniels. The assistant coach, Zach Yearly, will go to Kentucky. Then James Beckham will be the linebackers coach for the Bengals. Brian Ferrari and other quality offensive control assistant Leonard Hackinson will move up to wide receivers coach. Brian Flores will move up to tight ends coach. And then looking up to the other. Okay, so then we look at their offensively. They were ranked 12th. They were rushing was 7th. Total offense ranked 7th. Passing defense was 6th. Rushing defense was 7th. The defensively for the Niners were ranked 3rd, allowing only 5,270 yards. And then individual leaders, it was Jimmy Garoppolo leading the club, 3,810 yards passing. Elijah Mitchell 963 yards rushing. He was only just 37 yards away from 1,000 yards. Wide receiver Deebo Samuel got 1,405 yards. He got 1,000 yards in receptions. And then defensively, Fred Warner, 79 tackles. Nick Bosa, 15 and a half sacks, coming back after that torn ACL injury-plagued year last year in 2020. And Jimmy Ward led the Niners in interceptions with only 2 for the season. That's the secondary. That's going to be something that's going to have to be improved in the offseason. That secondary, the Niners are going to have to address that in the draft in 2022 later in the spring. So let's just get to quickly to the important dates coming up. With the Niners offseason moves coming up on from March 1st, 1 week from tomorrow, doing this taping from March 1st to the 7th to be the scouting combine at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Then on the following week, 2 weeks from tomorrow, prior to 4 o'clock Eastern time, clubs designate for their franchise tag or transition players. Then from March 13th through the 16th, during the period at 12 noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. on the West Coast, ending through 3:59 p.m. Eastern time, March 16th, clubs are permitted to contact and enter negotiations with certified free agents who are unrestricted. Then the free agency period will begin on the 16th at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock our time. The first new league day, 2022, will end at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. Clubs will receive personal notice that will include transactions submitted. Then the trading period begins on the 16th as well. Then from March 27th through the 30th will be the annual league meeting. Then clubs that hire new head coaches at the end of 2021 regular season begin their offseason workout programs, and then also the NFL draft will begin as we're looking on for the draft coming up. The deadline or the NFL draft will be from April 28th through April 30th, 2022. This year's draft will be in Las Vegas. And we'll be doing a lot of things this offseason on Niners Radio. And just like in case you missed it last week, of course, my man Brian Bauer, who has been the mediator for Niners Radio for 9 years, completing his 10th season as the host on Niners Radio. He'll be moving on to a new position, and we gladly announce that Brian Bauer will be promoted into the alumni fan experience as assistant for 49er road games. I mean, he'll be helping out with the alumni when the Niners will be having all the road games. This coming up for 2022. He'll be, it's an exciting adventure. And of course, congratulations to Brian Bauer. He had 9 years of this service for Niners Radio. And like I said, now yours truly, who had been the reporter coming off his 5th year for Niners Radio, I'll be the new head mediator and still be doing reporting for Niners Radio. And like I said, again, I posted last week, made that post last week after the Super Bowl, that Niners Radio is not going anywhere. It's kind of going a bit through a transition, and I will be your new mediator and be host and doing a lot of features on Niners Radio throughout the offseason, get you ready for the free agent. So I will be your new mediator, and we'll be doing a lot of things during the offseason on Niners Radio. We'll have features, the free agency period. We'll have some special guests, part of the 49ers alumni. We're going to be doing some new stuff, new innovative stuff, though, And like I said, again, in case you missed it, this is not the end for Niners Radio. This is kind of the continuation. This is going through a transition period. Brian Bauer is going to be moving on. Of course, I'd like to thank him, and also Dina Howard they're going to be moving on to bigger endeavors. And this is another step for me, growing and want to continue the legacy of Niners Radio. And of course, Brian Bauer will always, sometimes come on. We'll do some specials. Be kind of a little bit of a consultant, but this is another big step for me that I'm being promoted to, getting into that next level of, being the head guy doing Niners Radio. We're still going to be doing specials. We'll be doing the draft, and then stuff in the community in the off season, or when the Niner chapters you've seen on 49ers Tailgate throughout the year during our pregame show or doing our tapings. We'll be going out having the cookouts and stuff. We'll be doing some stuff with the Niners community in the off season and some specials, 49er alumni specials. We'll bring some Niner players from the past for our podcast on Niners Radio and could continue to grow Niners Radio. And plus, we definitely wanted also we're going to be doing some prize giveaways down the road as well, giving away some 49er merchandise and so much more. And we're gonna have some good stuff. Like I said again, Niners Radio is not going anywhere. This is just Niners Radio is going through a bit of a transition from Brian Bauer passing the keys, the baton to me, and it's going to be a big challenge, and I'm excited to be a part of this 49er radio family, and we're going to be having good stuff throughout the entire offseason, because there's no offseason. We're always going to have some special features and upcoming draft as well. So at this time, we're going to just wrap it up for Niners Radio for 2021. We'd like to thank all of you for watching 49ers pre- and post-game and all our tailgate shows throughout the entire year. A list of thousands. We'd like to first thank Brian Bauer for getting me this gig. Him moving on to his new position, working for the 49ers as fan and assistant to all their road games. And also, by the way, reminder, the 49ers 2022 schedule is going to have the NFC West and the AFC West and the NFC South. And that means the Niners coming here to the Mecca in 22 will be the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans will be coming to the Mecca, and they'll have road games in Atlanta and in Charlotte, North Carolina. I could be making a trip out there to cover the Niners out there in North Carolina. My cousin just recently moved down from the Bay Area all the way out to Charlotte, so could be out there for a weekend. Then another, the AFC West coming to the Mecca will be the Chargers and the Chiefs, a rematch of Super Bowl 54. And then the Niners make a trip to Vegas to take on the Raiders, and they'll take on the Broncos in Denver, and they'll go to Chicago again this year. And then other games at home will be the Washington Commanders will be coming to the Mecca. Question is, will Jimmy could be playing for Washington next year? Who knows? Rumors that the Commanders are having some interest. So there's a lot to be thankful for, and I really thank the good Lord and getting this promotion to a next level. And it's going to be exciting off season. We're going to be having all Niners news throughout the off season, the draft, and everything. And it's going to be, and also this year in 21 was great to see the fans back out at Levi Stadium. It was lively at Empire Row. I like to also acknowledge everybody out at Empire Row, from Jay Esperanza, Antonio Arvalo from Arvalo Productions, my man. Also, other people from Raj and for Abe Udea, Jesse, all that group from the Green Lot, the main Green Lot outside of Levi Stadium. The 408 squad with Miss Trey Bracewell, her husband Chuck, for their hospitality all year long, and for the Green Lot, the Third Street Rail, that group, and a lot of other people with their hospitality and telling about their tailgate experience, and for all the 49er faithful across the pond, around the Bay Area and beyond the globe, being one of the best fans in the National Football League. And also, last but not least, like to thank also Dennis Brown, former Super Bowl champion Dennis Brown, for all our previews, weekly previews leading up to Sunday's game throughout the year. Dennis Brown, for coming on throughout the year, and him and his and also just thank you, Dennis, if you're watching, helping us out, breaking down the matchups throughout the entire year. We hope we get a chance to do this again in 2020. So that's pretty much it for now. I'm Brian Professor B. Davis for your 2021 49ers season in review. If you want to purchase tickets for season tickets for 2022, go to 49ers.com. And for all the Niners news in the offseason, go to 49ers.com. And check us out on YouTube at youtube.com. Search for Niners Radio. Search for Niners Radio. You go to youtube.com, search for Niners Radio. And Check us out. We're working on the website. It's going to be podpage.com/dashboard/Niners Radio. That's podpage.com/dashboard/Niners Radio. We'll be getting that website building on that in the foreseeable future. But that's all for now. I'm Brian Professor B. Davis. Thank you for watching this Niners 2021 season recap. Catch us all throughout the offseason, all the latest news on 49ers.com. And, hey, this is not the end of Niners Radio. This is just the beginning. For now, I'm Brian Professor B. Davis, and so long. Thank you for watching as the Niners complete their observance of their 75-year anniversary. Their season number 76 come to an end. And we thank you all year for you, the 49er faithful. You are the best fans in the National Football League because you are the home field advantage. 49ers Football is Niners Radio is an association with the Satellite Digital Media News Network. 49ers Football, faithful to the Bay. Go Niners!